Hey guys, welcome to Season 2, Episode 11 of the Tech Check. Before we begin, here's a word from our sponsor.
Today's sponsor is Anchor. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. It has creation tools that allows you to create and edit podcasts right from your phone or computer. Anchor also distributes your podcast for you on multiple platforms such as Spotify and Apple Podcasts. You can make money with no minimum listenership, and everything is in one place to create a podcast. Download Anchor on the App Store or Play Store, or you can go to anchor.fm to create your podcast today.
All right, guys, welcome back to Season 2, Episode 11 of the Tech Check. Today we'll be talking about cybersecurity. So, Vinay, what is cybersecurity?
Basically, cybersecurity is methods to protect you from hacks or scams that could occur. Yeah, so that's pretty much cybersecurity.
Yeah, I mean, also cybersecurity is just basically so you don't get a virus in the end. And just to protect like the integrity of your software and your hardware so hackers don't destroy your OS or fry your hardware.
Yeah. So that's the basic stuff about cybersecurity. So now let's talk about some basic methods that protect you from hacks or scams. Nerd, you want to talk about that?
I mean, there isn't much to talk about. Most people already know some basic cybersecurity stuff that they've seen throughout their internet experience, I guess. Firewalls, where we have people, being prevented from going to certain sites. We have various cybersecurity softwares that encrypt data that you have so that it's harder for cyber threats to actually get data from those files. We have cybersecurity, those usually the same applications checking files to make sure that they're safe. Not then they don't have viruses and stuff. They have preventing people from going to certain pages that are super shady. I mean, there's countless other things that these cybersecurity things do in the background as well. But those are some of the main things that you actually get interact with when it comes to cybersecurity. Um, I mean, because most cyber threats come from you interacting with something and accidentally allowing viruses or cyber threats to have access to your software or hardware. And that's where cybersecurity comes in to make sure, it stops you from making those mistakes and, it thus stops you from actually getting viruses and hacked and stuff like that.
Yeah, that was a really good summary of the basics of cybersecurity. All right, do you guys want to move on maybe to hardware security, I guess?
All right. So, I guess hardware security is basically when your kind of like OS and your like local or whatever cybersecurity software you have kind of checks the hardware of your system, whether it's like a pre-built PC or whatever laptop. And basically one thing that it checks is if everything is the same inside. So like none of the parts have been changed too much or is drastically changed. So it makes sure that like I don't know if someone else had access to your PC or whatever and they changed some of the parts with corrupted hardware or something like that, then it just makes sure that it's still the same hardware so you're not at risk of that. It also checks the integrity of your hardware to make sure that hackers aren't trying to use your hardware to exploit it or just try to burn it up. So, sometimes there's viruses that literally cause your motherboards or whatever to fry, which isn't too good. So hardware security kind of keeps all of that in check and makes sure that the identity of like where the OS is and the identity of the PC is still the same and nothing's really changed too much.
Nice. So, I was kind of confused about like hardware security in general. So, in the beginning, you sort of said like it would check if all the components are the same. So,
Yeah.
this if like a person actually like came to your PC in person and like switched the parts.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
okay.
I mean, think about it this way: if you say you send it into like some sort of a repair shop, right? Because you're not good at fixing computers by yourself.
Yeah.
You send it to a computer shop. It comes back. The the hardware checks that the cybersecurity stuff does make sure that you didn't lose anything in the process of that um, a repair shop thing. In case something really suspicious or something like that happened, where they could have taken your data by switching out parts or something like that. This makes sure that that doesn't happen. Of course, I'm not saying all repair shops are super suspicious. I'm just saying that you know it's what these cybersecurity hardware, the hardware cybersecurity stuff does for you in a similar situation.
Yeah. And then again, even with all these methods, it's also good to make sure you use cybersecurity methods, like not like software methods, but methods yourself, such as like checking your router settings, especially if you're doing anything with port forwarding and stuff like that, just so they don't have a ton of ports open, so people can just log in or like connect to your router and do whatever with it. And also to check your firewall settings, just to make sure everything is either as secure as you want it to be or as open as you want it to be, depending on like what type of network you're hosting.
All right. So that's pretty much it about what is cybersecurity. So let's talk about the types of cyber attacks. The first one is DOS or DDoS. Pratham, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, it's basically when you s- just send a bunch of bots or overload a server just until it's taken down or crashed. It's common.
Yeah, it's pretty common. The next one is phishing or spear phishing attacks, where basically someone sends you a really weird email, such as like click here to get free money or something that probably won't happen and is not from a trusted source. And when you click on that link, they steal a bunch of your data or they do some crazy stuff.
Yeah, they'll try to disguise it as email such as Microsoft or some sort of tech support. That's the most common one.
So watch out for that. Nir, do you want to talk about the third one, drive-by download attacks?
I mean, as much as basically when you visit a site and it just automatically forces your computer to download a bunch of malware and viruses and stuff, essentially, you know, throwing your entire computer for a loop because by just visiting a site, you've downloaded a ton of stuff that you didn't intentionally download. So,
Yeah, I know for me this happened before when I was trying to watch like an NFL stream and it just downloaded a bunch of stuff and just watch out for that, guys. All right, and the fourth cyber attack is eavesdropping attack. Basically, hackers find out passwords and confidential information that you send over a network. So just don't send passwords or usernames over like a text or anything like that, or maybe even an email, just to be safe. But yeah, those are pretty much the types of cyber attacks. Do you guys want to move on to the types of cybersecurity like softwares?
Yeah.
All right. So the first one is McAfee, I think is what it's called. I'm not sure.
McAfee.
Problem knows it.
Yeah.
McAfee and Norton are the biggest ones that you're going to see with a lot of different people in terms of cybersecurity software. There are others, but McAfee and Norton, I think, are the biggest ones right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those are the two most popular ones.
What are
Like
they?
what?
Wait, Problem. Do you have McAfee and Norton?
I have McAfee. I used to have Norton,
Yeah,
and
same goes for me.
I had another one called Keeper Sky in the meantime.
Personally, I've never really had cybersecurity softwares because I have a Mac, right? So
Yeah,
I don't think you really need them for a Mac, right?
You I
it
mean,
depends.
yeah, you probably did have some sort of security at some point and just didn't know about it.
Yeah, I did. I did like with my old Mac. It was called Sophos, which is pretty good. But at least with the one I have right now, I don't have any. And I also use Safari. And in Safari's new like update, on the top left next to the search bar, it actually tells you like what web pages are tracking you or if anything's tracking you and stuff. So I just feel like Safari and Macs themselves are just much more secure than PCs. That's just me. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, Opera does the same thing where you can like block
Yeah.
ads and trackers and all that. So, it doesn't really make too much of a difference for me. Like even when I had my Mac, I just never used Safari just because I
That's,
did not like Safari.
you guys probably use Chrome, right?
Huh?
I mean, you guys probably use Chrome, right? Like as a browser. So what do
Yeah, I
you?
use Chrome and Opera.
Same.
I've never heard of Opera. What's that? What is Opera?
Well, I mean, Prasen told me about Opera. It's essentially just a web browser that comes with some extra stuff on it, like
Yeah,
comes with a VPN. It comes with
VPN.
it
yeah, it's
comes
like
with some other stuff too, like ad block and whatever.
it's a
Um,
Chromium based browser, so you can use a bunch of stuff that you can do on Chrome, such as extensions, stuff like that.
yeah, for the
Mm.
record, this is not a sponsorship. We're not sponsored by
Yeah,
Opera, so
Yeah.
yeah. And you can also get like a gaming browser if you have Windows. There's like Opera GX.
yeah. But okay, let's move on to the actual meat of the important stuff when it comes to cybersecurity, and that's cybersecurity in the modern day.
Yeah.
As I feel like, especially with the increased value on privacy in people's lives, cybersecurity is receiving a major boost, especially especially stock wise and market wise. Um, I mean, it might not like I have an example. Like a lot of my family and friends are moving to
Signal.
Signal instead of WhatsApp or iMessages or something along those lines because it's more private. Sure, it's technically not cybersecurity, but it shows that people are valuing privacy a lot more, and that might speak to how cybersecurity is going to do well in the future as long as privacy is very important to people, which it always will be. So
Yeah, I agree. I was pretty shocked at first that like a bunch of people just started switching from WhatsApp. I mean, I get it, but like I don't know. I was pretty surprised at first, just because of
I
like.
mean, people don't want their information being shared with others unless they, well, of course they're going to they technically have consent to that information through terms and conditions, stuff like that, but they don't want to share personal information if they don't have to. And Signal offers uh, you know offers a messaging app that doesn't require you to give any personal information, so that's probably why. As again, if you look at cybersecurity, people don't want to give their information out when they don't have to. So cybersecurity makes sure that they don't accidentally give it to the wrong people in the process of doing something that they think is necessary.
Yeah, I'm surprised like why. I mean, I know I asked my parents this because they switched to Signal as well, and I offered the idea of having them switch to Snapchat. And I was honestly thinking about this, and I was like, Snap's like really secure in a sense because like everything deletes like automatically, like right
I mean,
after.
just because it deletes doesn't mean it's not stored somewhere.
Yeah, Snap is by far one of the least privacy secure apps on the
Yeah.
on the App Store. It literally tracks. I mean, of course you have to consent to these, but if you consent to all of these, it tracks like literally everything that you do. Like your Snap Maps, bro, is weirdly accurate. Like
Yeah, no, that's very accurate, bro. That's so accurate.
it's like I could literally just like go to someone's house on my Snapchat, even if I don't know them or don't know their address, just through Snap Maps.
That's the one. But like you can turn it off, but like they'll still be able to know, which is like
Yeah, you can turn it off, but there's also like Snapchat added like this Snapchat voice assistant or whatever, where you can like use your voice to use certain filters, which I don't understand why anyone want that, but it's there. So now it's also tracking your voice. So it really doesn't value privacy too much if you consent to all of these.
yeah, that's true. Because no one actually reads the terms and conditions.
Yeah.
It's just like a giant long paragraph, and everyone just clicks accept. Yeah, so I think I agree with what Niraj said about like social media. Everyone's gonna move towards privacy.
Yeah, we should talk about cyber attacks, especially, well, we already did, but recent cyber attacks that have happened. Uh, Quite a few episodes ago, we talked about the Twitter hack and how that Bitcoin scam and how they made a decent profit off of that and all that sort of stuff. And then people started freaking out because they weren't worried about their social media being secure and everything. That's one example of people freaking out over cyber attacks. But I feel like there's also a ton of different areas where cyber attacks could be super dangerous, especially without proper cybersecurity. Where do you guys think? Where do you? I have my own opinions, but where do you guys think those fields are?
Wait, could you repeat the question again?
Basically, cyber attacks can happen anywhere, right? We saw how it affected social media, and people started freaking out with the Twitter hack a while ago. So I was just asking, what fields are the most valuable that could be? What fields would have the biggest impact on society if a cyber attack were to happen in that field?
That's a really good question, and honestly, I think my guess is the military because I feel like as countries, I mean, obviously now war is kind of like the last resort, and most conflicts are resolved politically by just debate, not debates, but like negotiations and stuff. But I think
Diplomacy.
that's the word. That's the word I was gonna say. But I feel like if it were ever to come to like a war, I feel like a cyber war would happen. Would have like a higher likelihood of happening instead of like a nuclear attack. But that's what I think.
I mean, I don't know because the military is given so much priority in a ton of countries. So they would probably be designated some really good resources when it comes to cybersecurity and making sure that all the information they have is safe. Because if they didn't, and if assuming you're a good enough hacker or something, you could get your hands on a lot of sensitive information. So again, they probably have the military probably, in at least in the U.S., I'm pretty sure has one of the most secure networks on the one of the most secure networks that the military along with the government. So I honestly, if there were some sort of cyber attack on the military or government, yeah, I mean, it could possibly be bad, but I don't see it getting too far with the amount of resources allocated to cybersecurity for the military. Personally, I believe it'll be largest in, again, social media and transportation as we move to a more self-driving uh, sort of nature when it comes to transportation. Because assuming the same cybersecurity that protects the military or something like that doesn't come with self-driving cars, you could easily, well, not easily, but you can hack into a car, and that's gonna go really wrong, really fast. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean, like you said right now, but like hacking into a car. I think that could probably have a really dangerous effect, especially with cars becoming self-driving in the future. Tesla, notably, probably the most predominant self-driving car right now. I mean, so far, I haven't heard of any like hacks on any self-driving cars, but if they become more popular, I could definitely see it happening, and it could be really scary. Like, that your car could just like, you know, yeah, you don't have control over your car, and that's pretty scary. But yeah,
well, it's mainly because we don't have official fully automated cars yet. All of them still require human input and still have people physically operating them. Without the person, the car can't move. And as long as that's the case, I don't really see cyber attacks on transportation really doing anything because they kind of can't. At least to
Yeah,
my knowledge of how that's to my knowledge on how connectivity between cars and the internet works or whatever. But yeah, until we get fully fledged automated cars that don't require human operators, it's cyber attacks on transportation won't be doing too much, which is good.
yeah, I see what you're saying. What are you guys' thoughts about cybersecurity on finance, like credit card information and banks? Like,
I mean,
honestly,
that's already there at risk. Like, there's already
Yeah,
been a ton of attacks on credit card information, bank details. I think the more, um, I think cybersecurity for cryptocurrencies is a big one, just because free money if you succeed. So
Bitcoin's been going off recently.
yeah, so just with cyber or cryptocurrency really taking off in the past few decades and now still continuing to, have more interest, it's definitely going to be an area where cybersecurity is going to have a large impact on, just because cryptocurrency is not, just limited to like a nation, but it's worldwide.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it for the major areas that cybersecurity could have an impact. You guys have anything else you want to add?
No, not really.
I mean, there's social media, but social media is already pretty susceptible, and we've already seen the outcome of that, which is literally just mass panic over whether people's information is going to be shared and stuff. So yeah, there isn't really much to that because we've also already covered it in a previous episode, I'm pretty sure. So I mean, I think that's it from us. If you guys have anything to add, let us know in the comments on YouTube or via social media or whatever it may be. But in the end, thank you guys for listening and stay tuned for the next one.